Hey, I'm Michaela. I'm here with Dr. Todd, one of our professors here at Oklahoma City University. We're going to talk a little bit about his work. He mainly teaches for the journalism classes, ones with mass comm. All right, so Dr. Todd, what sparked your interest in journalism and led into your career?
That's a good question. I've been interested in media as far back as I remember. I can even remember publishing sort of a neighborhood newspaper in 6th grade. I delivered newspapers the summer after 6th grade. And then I started playing around with the newspaper staff in high school. And then I was a music major in college, but I was always on the newspaper staff. I picked up journalism minor that I didn't completely finish. And then I started working part-time for a local newspaper. And I've never made any money in music, and probably for a good reason. But I've always been able to find a media career. And so that's kind of where I ended up.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your past work with journalism. Like, what papers did you work with? Are there any important pieces or stories you've done?
I've been lucky to have a few things picked up. Most of my professional work was in community newspapers, mostly weeklies, a few dailies in the mix, several college newspapers. And then my last job before I moved to Oklahoma was with a publishing company in Lexington who did pre-press work for a major magazine company in New York, Harris Publications. And in the year that I worked for them, we did 144 magazines in a 12-month period. And some of those are some well-known, a Guitar World, Double XL, Slam, which is a basketball quarterly, and then a lot of really niche publications like Guns and Weapons for Law Enforcement, wow. Celebrity Hairstyles, you know, all those weird magazines, yeah. Whitetail bow hunting strategies, you know, yeah. Niche publications. Mr. Harris was good at finding people who would buy a magazine over something. Yeah. So he'd make one.
Wow.
And yeah, we were doing pre-press and copy editing in Photoshop and Illustrator every single day for hours. But that was neat. I had a piece that was picked up that ended up in the Congressional Record. I'm kind of proud of that. I started with a Pink Floyd quote. I'm the only person in the history of the United States to get Pink Floyd entered in the Congressional Record. I've won a couple awards over the years, so I've had some blessings and success in publishing.
All right, awesome. Okay, so on that note, we're going to go to the break, and we'll be right back.
The Stars in retreat. The shot goes up. Devasane comes out of nowhere, and another block for OCU. This guy's on fire. This kid owns OCU's record in blocks not only on the court, but off the court as well. Earlier today, he was busy crashing the boards. Just a rebounding machine. Even cleaning up the glass, giving a whole new meaning to garbage time. Devasane, MVP on the court, and keeping Oklahoma beautiful off the court.
Oklahoma isn't your room. So don't trash it.
Hi, welcome back to Studio 22. I'm still here with Philip Todd. I was just wondering, okay, so I heard that you lived out of the country for a little while, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about that, because I think it was Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, my folks were missionaries with the Christian Missionary Alliance. Both of my parents were in the ministry their entire careers. So I moved to Brazil at age 13 and came back after high school at 18. So 5 of the most formative years, I think, in my life were in Brazil. Wow. And that was in the late 70s. That was a really exciting time to be there. It was kind of like how the U.S. was in the 60s. Everything was exploding. The city I lived in went from 500,000 to 1 million over that 5-year period. I was up the road from Sao Paulo, which now I think is the largest city in the Western Hemisphere. It passed Mexico City a while ago. What an amazing time. And
yeah.
If you know anything about Brazil, or you know any Brazilians who've ever been, you know Brazil is something that sticks in your heart. if you went there for 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, it never leaves your bloodstream.
Yeah, every story I've heard about people going there is just all about, like delving in the culture. Was it like a culture shock when you got there? Or?
Not too much, because I had lived in New York the 3 previous years, so I was used to an urban atmosphere, or a sub-close urban atmosphere. Lots of public transportation. It took a while to pick up the language, and also just the European culture. Brazil is very European, lots of European influence. But big media tradition in Brazil, big newspapers, lots of dailies, big broadcasters. I know Globo, for example, is an internationally known broadcaster. I didn't see too many of the Brazilian movie industry, but it did exist. There were some international award-winning Brazilian films that come out every couple of years. But a very literate society, a very active media society, and lots of fun. I was able to go back a couple years ago, having been out of the country for 30-some years, and it was just like stepping back in time.
All right, I'm going to have to cut you off
Sure.
there. Thank you for tuning in to Studio 22. We'll get you next time. Thank you.